Hello, welcome back to Soul Search Sunday with Johnny and Kitten in the background.
Kitten.
Actually, kittens, because we got three, Aslan Tiger and Mommy Kitten.
Meow.
So, if you guys suddenly hear some unruly noise like cats fighting in the background, that's just normal in this household sometimes. It's like having a couple of rowdy teenagers around. Today's date is September 25th, 25? 25 or 25th. I can never figure that out. When you're talking about date, whatever, 25. Now, earlier this week, I got a bit of an opportunity to pay attention to a little lecture that talked about relationship, and that sort of prompted me to do this episode. So this is actually one of those rare times where I actually knew what I was going to talk about because I've been thinking about it all week. Uh, Now, of course, there's a lot to talk about when it comes to relationship. So today we are mostly going to address couple relationship, and I've condensed it down to a small list so it's easy to remember. And it's a nice little formula. As you guys know, I'm big on formulating things and putting them into categories and principles. I always say that when you give people a list to remember, as long as the list is not too long, it's actually easier for people to keep things in perspective. So, today we are going to talk a little bit about four simple things to keep in mind, four simple things that you need to have to make a relationship better, especially a long term relationship. Right? A lot of people that I talk to that been married or been with the same person for 5, 6, 10 years, 20 years, and they suddenly find themselves in this. One of my friends put it the best. He said, when you're together this long, it's no longer a loving relationship. When you're together this long, it turns into just two people coexisting because it's convenient. And that is a sad thing to get into, okay? I was in an 18 years relationship before, and I found that even my own relationship sort of uh, fell into that kind of uh, monotonous, really boring pattern, really kind of like
Complacent.
complacency. Yeah, you kind of feel that, hey, am I giving the speech or are you giving the speech? Be quiet and be a good audience.
I'm listening.
Yeah, complacency. So you kind of fall into that. Well, I don't know, like this relationship. I don't know if I'm getting anything out of this relationship anymore. I don't know, like the person is not really doing it for me anymore. But the person is not doing anything horrible, so you feel bad leaving the person. And God, you've been together for so long, you'd be ashamed to leave it. Yeah, so you kind of get caught in that limbo. So today I'm going to show you guys when if you run into that situation, then it's time to take out this little list and see, okay, what are we missing in our relationship? And maybe start from there. Maybe it's time to reevaluate and maybe add some of these elements back into your relationship. Item number one is very simple, and almost everybody, especially women, like to talk about it. Okay, the first item is communication. I hate it when women bring this one up. You need to communicate. You
Oh.
need to communicate. Right. One thing that most people get misunderstand is communication is not just talking. Sometimes it's actually about not having to say anything. A very effective communication is if I say something and you already know what I'm going to say, but you don't interrupt me because you respect me, so you let me finish anyway. And then when you are going to say something, even though I disagree with what you're going to say, I don't interrupt you uh, and let you finish. So communication is not about you talk, I talk, you talk, I talk, and see who talks faster and all that stuff. Okay. Uh, Let me give you guys a little true life story with regarding to communication and how important it is in a relationship actually. Um, if you want to take a look at the amount of women, now men is a little bit different, the amount of women that cheat, that have an affair uh, in their marriage or relationship, you will find that the majority of the women they don't cheat because they want to find someone else to have sex with. A majority of women they don't cheat because they want to find someone that have more money. Majority of women actually cheat because they find someone else that they can actually talk to. Like I said, men are a little bit different. Okay, for men, it comes down to equal part sex appeal and conversation and stuff like that. So men are a little bit more basic. Back in 2001, 2002, there was a very rich person who found out that his wife, who was about 20 years younger than him, uh, was cheating on him. This very rich person uh, was very angry, very hurt because he thought, what the heck? I buy you everything, I provide for you. You don't have to work because of me. You don't have to do anything because of me. I hire housemaid and chauffeur. You don't have to do anything, and you are going to cheat on me. So when his wife wanted to get a divorce, he refused to sign the paper. He was so hurt. And in fact, he almost went the O.J. Simpson route. He was contemplating hiring someone to do away with his wife. But then he thought, uh, I can't do that. We still have children. I can't just go and murder their mom. What if I get caught? And then their mom would be dead and their dad would be in jail. What would my children do? So he didn't go through with his plan. Instead, he hired a detective to follow his wife to find out where her and her lover was, and he wanted the detective to record everything that was going on between them uh, in the evening. So maybe he could use that in court against her, whatever. Um, when the detective came back with a videotape and showed him what was recorded, the guy was shocked. The guy was so ashamed of himself that he went ahead and signed the divorce paper. So what was on this recording? The guy said in court when he when he uh, when they went to uh, court to get all the paperwork done, he said I thought that I would see two shameless people just doing it in all kinds of way and having wild sex all night long, and I would be angry. But what I wasn't expecting was the two of them just lay there talking for the whole night. And I realized that the two of them talked more in one night than she and I ever talked in our entire marriage. So that is a very big thing. Like, if you find that you are in a relationship and all your communications is about, hey, what do you want for dinner? Where are you going? When are you going to be home? Uh, uh, Can you turn off the light? Can you turn the volume down? If all your communications fall into necessities, like two people barely know each other, then your relationship is going to be in very uh, dangerous territory very soon. Because very soon, either you are going to find one person outside your marriage that you can really talk to, and you will find, wow, this person is so wonderful. I can actually have a conversation, a fun conversation. Or your partner is going to find that person, and that just your relationship is doomed for failure from that point on. So try to talk, actually talk, not just ask questions and say what you want for dinner, uh, uh, but instead actually talk about TV shows that you've watched, something that happened at work, even though sometimes your partner might talk about things that you don't care for. Uh, you might talk about things that your partners don't understand, uh, but you can still be there to talk to each other, ask questions if you don't understand, if you don't agree with or you don't care about your partner talking about their friends and football and stuff like that. Hey, at least try to pretend that you care. So that is part of very big part of communication. It's not just about necessity. Communication should be you need to have that kind of fun, casual communication, which is something that Kitten and I we've been together for coming up to 4 years anniversary pretty soon.
Yay!
Uh, we still talk a lot, and mostly she talk, I listen. Yeah, right. Yeah, okay. I do a lot of talking.
Have
She
you
listens.
heard this guy?
Um, Another thing about communication, this one is equally important and also very dangerous for relationship, is people sometimes martyr themselves a lot in relationship. I did a lot of this in my previous relationship, and it's not until the end that when I was ready to leave that relationship, I realized how much anger, how much hurt, how much uh, I've put up with, and I never said and it all came out in the end, and it's just not very cool, right? Um, Sometimes we think this really annoys me, but if I say something, she's going to say something, she's going to piss me off, I'm going to piss her off, and then we're going to fight for the rest of the night.
Mm.
It's not worth it. Okay, sometimes you bottling that in is going to do more damage to your relationship in the long run because if you don't say it, she won't know it, he won't know it. It's an old say, only the squeaky wheel is going to get greased. You don't squeak, well, they don't know you need to get greased. So if you bottle this in today, okay, let's say you're pretty cool like me who can bottle it in for 18 years. Eventually, you will come to a point where you can't keep it in anymore. And when it finally come out, it's going to be very dramatic. It's going to be really uh, hard for both parties to even deal with that. Because how can you deal with something that you didn't mention when it offended you 15 years ago? You can't, right? The person might not even remember it, but you remember it because you're the one who got hurt feelings. So you need to bring that up. Now, I'm not saying that any little thing you got to bring it up because sometimes there's a time and a place, right? Sometimes when you're in public, it's not a good time. Sometimes when you're half asleep, it's not a good time. Uh, Sometimes when you're eating dinner together, it might not be a good time. But always uh, try to remember if it bother you enough, you want to address it. Don't just have the good, positive communication. Communication have to be about what pisses you off too. Have to be about what make you uncomfortable. Communication have to be about what you would like changed. Don't be scared to have that kind of communication because otherwise you are heading your relationship down a very big time bomb that can blow up anytime. So that's item number one. It's a communication. Item number two is ceremony. Confucius once said that ceremony is important because ceremony is what keep us grounded, is what keep us repeating the same pattern over and over again and give us time to reflect on what we need to do and what have we done. And this is very true for relationship. Uh, if you lack a kind of ceremony in your relationship, it's very easy to leave each other, to ditch this relationship. But if you have a ceremony, if you have a habit, you build up a routine, then it is harder because whenever you think about ditching this relationship, you may think, oh my God, she used to bring me coffee every morning, but now I have to get my own coffee. Or, oh, I used to hold her hand uh, when I come home and give her a kiss. Now there's no one there. Okay, it's these very minute, very casual, very trivial ceremony things that you want to build into a pattern, build into a habit that will keep your relationship really grounded and remind each other how you felt once upon a time. Uh, so a common thing that we see, of course, is sometimes in the beginning of the relationship, guys, okay, every time come home, like meet with you have a date, you bring flower, you dress up nice, you put on cologne, and then after you finally live together and get married, what happened? You come home from work, you throw your shoes in the corner, you go plop down in front of the TV. Where's the flower? Where's the cologne? Nothing. Some people say, well, I can't keep that up all the time. No, you can't keep up the flower thing all the time because it gets expensive, but you can start something else. Okay? What about come home and just give them a quick hug or a kiss, or come home and give them a box of candy? That doesn't cost much. You can even buy a whole year worth ahead of time. Just store it at the office. There you go. I just taught you guys a little trick that worked for a lot of my clients. Okay? If you know your wife likes chocolate, yeah, you don't need to remind yourself to go buy it every day. Just buy a lot of it at once and store it at the office in the fridge. Then you always have one handy. um,
I'm gonna get chocolate.
you're gonna get chocolate. No, you don't get chocolate. You get a hug and a kiss.
Yay!
Um, so and same thing with women. I know I keep talking about men, but it's same thing with women. I mean, a lot of women, when you're dating somebody, you don't even want to fart in front of them. You don't even want to go to the washroom when they are around. They're like a lot of women make men think that, wow, my chick is so cool. She never have to take a crap, which is not true, right? Like, not everyone have to do it. And then after you get married, after you are in a relationship, suddenly what happened? You don't even close the door when you are taking a dump in the washroom, and then you're running around looking for your sanitary napkin with your underwear around your ankle and your hair is all messed up. Like, look, guys don't need to see that, right? Like, it's not a nice image you want, like with especially with someone who is supposed to be your sexy other half and stuff like that. Like, so you want to keep a little bit of ceremony, right? You still want to smell nice. You still want to uh, uh, give them the same kind of consideration that you gave them when you were dating. Okay? Always keep the relationship on that dating kind of mentality, and you will do a lot better. And this lead us smoothly into item three, which is this is going to surprise a lot of people, right? Item three, not the third thing that you need to have in your relationship is insecurity. That doesn't mean you go out of your way to make your partner insecure. Okay, it doesn't work that way. I'm talking about you yourself need to feel. insecurity. You need to be insecure. A lot of people say, what are you talking about? Like, you know, what? I don't want to be in a relationship if I feel insecure. I want to be in a relationship that I feel secure in. If you are totally secure in your relationship is going to fail like 90% of the time. Why? Because most of us, myself included, when we get too complacent, when we get too secure, we start to take the other person for granted. Like you figure, okay, I trust this person 100%. She's never going to leave me. She can't leave me. She's mine now. So what you start doing is you start thinking computer game is more important than her. Work is more important than her. Uh, Watching football with your friends is more important than her because why? Because always going to be there. She's not going anywhere.
Sure, watching football game.
I'm not
Sounds
talking to
fun.
you.
Do you want NFL,
The
sports,
computer,
or college?
stop. I don't know why she just did that. But, oh, because I mentioned the game. I
You said the C
yeah,
word.
but basically, when you start to feel complacent, you take the other person for granted. You don't even feel you need to do anything to impress them anymore because they're already here. They're yours. Uh, a lot of I see this again in a lot of men and women when they are dating. They try to look so nice. They dress nice, smell nice, act nice, go to the gym, trying to be fit, and then afterward, you look at them 10 years later, 20 years later. Now they're an old couple. What happened? The guy is out of shape. The guy is sitting there picking his nose, farting, burping, and just not a care in the world. And the female, the woman, is all frumpy and doesn't even care if she's wearing matching socks or matching house shoes, or if her dress make her look really kind of ugly, and she walk around stomping around the house with her hair in the hairnet and sweat stain under her armpit and smelling like how someone smell when someone is very frustrated and busy and been sweating all day. Yeah, you're going to run into that situation. And you know what? When you get to this situation, when you get to this point, and suddenly a third person come into your relationship, let's say you're the man, go out at work, see his young, trim, fit secretary who smiles at him every day and call him sir, and is uh, got all kind of goal that she's very smart. She's going to school. She's going to become a legal representative or lawyer or something. Yeah, you can't compare to that. Like the housewife will never compare to that. So and vice versa. The guy, you're fat, you're overweight. All you do is watch football, drink beer, fart, burp in the couch. Your wife go outside and meet that school teacher who is like maybe a PE teacher, a gym teacher, tall, muscular, has a lot of goal on his plate. He's driven, he's maybe a membership of the Lions Club, and he drives a beautiful, nice, fancy car, and he's always so tentative and willing to listen. You can't compare to that. You're going to look like a frog next to someone like that. So when you become complacent, this is when the third person is going to suddenly become a lot more appealing to your partner. So no matter how good your relationship is, never let yourself feel, oh, I got him now or I got her now. I don't need to work on it anymore. You always need to work on it. Okay? The person always has the right to walk away. The person can walk away anytime with anybody. So don't let yourself fall into that mindset that you don't need to work on it anymore. A big thing that tied into insecurity that causes couples to fall apart is quite often one side of the relationship, one of the two is still willing to grow, willing to try. Usually, uh, the woman is working. Let's say the guy is say, oh, she's working, she's making enough money for the both of us. For both of us, I'll just stay home. I'll play video game. I'll uh, uh, do whatever I like to do all day long. It might be okay for a couple of months, but you'll find that after 5 or 10 years, this woman is now so much smarter than the man. She's out there getting new information, new stimulus, talking to new people, having to struggle to make a living every day. She is going to maybe decide to upgrade herself, get a new degree, or get a new fitness program while the guy is still home playing video game. Right? So in this situation, as soon as she finds someone better, you are out the door. Right? So don't let yourself get left behind. You need to grow with your partner. If your partner is taking up a new hobby, you take out a new hobby. If your partner is making friends, and you need to make friends. Uh, you don't always necessarily have to be in the same hobby. You don't always have to have the same friend, but make sure that you are matching each other's stride. Whatever they do, wherever they advance to, you need to keep pace with them. Otherwise, you get left behind. Like there's an old cliche: time doesn't wait for anybody. Uh, and this is very true in relationship too. Last but not least, and definitely related to our third one, is self-control. Right? If you just have insecurity but you don't have self-control, this is going to turn into a very abusive relationship. Because what's going to happen is you feel insecure, so you start pestering your partner. Why are you going to the gym? Who are you trying to impress? Why are you coming home? You don't want to be with me? Are you just saying you're going to the gym and you're actually going to see somebody else? And this is not. Some people say, well, that's communication. No, that's not communication. That's interrogation. And no, nobody should put up with that. Like no, most partner won't like that. And what's going to happen is you start doing that, your partner is going to get crankier and crankier. They don't want to talk to you anymore because you're being unreasonable, and that just adds to your insecurity. Now you feel that they are ignoring you intentionally, which they are because you're unreasonable. Uh, and the whole relationship is just like on a big crashing course. Right? So it's important to have insecurity, but you need to keep that to yourself. Like I said, insecurity is for you to grow. It's for you to not take your partner for granted. Insecurity is not something that you use to torment the other person with. It's not something that you do to them. So, an example of someone who have good self-control is, let's say I call Kitten on the phone, and maybe I'll call one time, and I think, oh, maybe she didn't get it. Let me call her again. And after the second time, I will say, oh, maybe she's busy. Uh, she'll see the missed call and she'll call me back later. And I'll just leave it at that, right? Now, if someone who have poor self-control would be me after calling the second time, call a third time, fourth time, fifth time, sixth time, myself getting more and more pissed off because she's not answering. What is she doing? Maybe she's uh, talking to someone else. Maybe she's out with someone else. Why didn't she tell me she's going to be out with someone else? What's going on? And I'm going to call her mom. I'm going to call her brothers and ask them what's going on. And when she finally called me back, rather than sticking to my original plan of calling her to see, hey, how did the breakfast go? I'm going to go right into, why didn't you return my call? Why didn't you answer? What were you doing? Who were you with? Again, this turns into an interrogation situation and your partner. should never put up with interrogation like that is a form of emotional abuse, right? No one should have to put up with that. Um, so self-control, very, very important, especially when it goes hand in hand with insecurity. Insecurity is good for your relationship when it makes you grow, but it's really damaging for your relationship when you lack self-control. So these two have to go together. So to recap, we have communication, very important, and ceremony, and and
Insecurity.
insecurity. Okay, yeah, I just wanted to quiz her a little bit to to know that she's not falling asleep.
One time.
And self-control. If you have all four elements in your relationship, or try to keep all four elements present in your relationship, then I dare say your relationship will have a very, very, very high chance of succeeding. And now I'm not going to say that you won't fight, because you probably will, especially when you have insecurity and communication. Okay, communication kind of include arguing sometimes. Um, you will fight, but if you have all four elements in your relationship, then you can get past that and get back to spending time loving each other. I hope that this helps someone out somewhere down the road, and Kitten and I will try to be back tomorrow for some Music Monday. I say
Yay.
try because we already missed two Music Monday
Oh.
again. But yeah, like I said, we had a bit of tragedy. So you guys can excuse us. We were having a really rough time. Still having a hard time, but I think we are starting to get a grip on it. Um, we'll see you guys tomorrow, I hope. For now, have a good night.
Good night.